Good day, friends. Alvin here, your trusted voice from Green Ground, inviting you to pause and take in a panoramic view of the world as it spins on this July 3rd, 2025. Today, we're unspooling a vibrant tapestry of stories that weave together diplomacy, security, economics, and a spirited dash of sports, all illuminating the grand stage of our shared human experience. Our journey begins in West Africa, where Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has touched down in Ghana, marking the first visit by an Indian leader to the country in over 3 decades. This isn't just a handshake tour, it's a strategic revival of ties that date back generations, now reframed for a new era. Modi's moves here are as deliberate as they are symbolic. He positions India not as a heavy-handed power, but as a partner keen on fostering cooperation in defense, maritime security, and the digital frontier of cybersecurity. Ghana, stable and resource-rich, becomes India's gateway to West Africa, a region where India treads carefully between influence and respect, keenly aware of avoiding the missteps of neocolonial shadows. This is India's quiet chess game, balancing soft power with strategic needs, outmaneuvering bigger players like China and Russia without mimicking their more aggressive styles. Modi's visit isn't just bilateral pageantry, it's a statement about building alliances among nations historically overlooked, nurturing a South-South dialogue that aspires to genuine partnership and mutual empowerment. Meanwhile, across the Indo-Pacific, the Quad nations have raised their collective voice against recent terror attacks in Pahalgam, India, signaling unity against threats that ripple far beyond local borders. But behind these words looms a shared unease about China's military assertiveness in the East and South China Seas. These waters aren't just trade routes, they're the chessboard on which power and peace are contested daily, where every maneuver can tilt the balance of the region and, by extension, the world. The Quad's firm stance reflects a determination to keep these seas open, stable, and free from coercion, a commitment that underscores how the Indo-Pacific remains the theater where alliances are tested and futures forged. Turning to the Middle East, Iran's abrupt halt of cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency is sending shockwaves through diplomatic circles. Provoked by recent U.S. airstrikes on nuclear sites, Iran's move ratchets up nuclear tensions in a region already fraying under decades of conflict. Here, the stakes are existential. This is a crucible for questions of trust, security, and the fragile architecture meant to keep nuclear ambitions in check. Each decision made in Tehran or Washington reverberates across continents, a stark reminder of how thin the margin can be between stability and chaos. On Capitol Hill, a political melodrama unfolds as U.S. lawmakers spar over a tax cut and spending bill, with the July 4th deadline looming like a ticking clock. This isn't just a fight over dollars. It's a microcosm of America's ongoing struggle to balance economic ambitions with social obligations, a tug-of-war over national debt, healthcare, and the future of programs like Medicaid. The symbolism of deciding the nation's fiscal course on the eve of Independence Day adds a poignant touch to this debate, reminding us how America's governance forever dances between vision and division. Back in the Middle East, the human toll of conflict emerges as Hamas signals a tentative willingness to consider a ceasefire, yet insists on a full end to hostilities. This delicate dance is intertwined with proposals carrying the imprint of former President Trump, adding yet another layer of complexity. The path to peace is strewn with historic grievances and regional power plays, and each flicker of negotiation reveals just how elusive a lasting solution remains. Meanwhile, tragedy strikes Pakistan's Bajar region, where an explosion has claimed lives and deepened the pall of insecurity. Such events are sobering reminders of the fragile peace in South Asia, where local acts of violence ripple outward, unsettling communities already burdened by instability. In economic theaters, sparks fly as former President Trump threatens steep tariffs on Japanese rice, threatening to reignite trade tensions that could rattle markets well beyond Tokyo and Washington. Protectionism and globalization collide in these negotiations, reminding us how delicate the threads of international commerce can be, and how quickly they can unravel. Across the Atlantic, the Pentagon's pause on weapons shipments to Ukraine sends a clear signal. Even among allies, resources are finite and strategies must evolve. This decision highlights the complex calculus of modern warfare logistics, where support for embattled partners must contend with practical constraints and shifting geopolitical winds. Shifting our gaze to Southeast Asia, Indonesia navigates the monumental logistical challenges of the annual Hajj pilgrimage, a spiritual odyssey for thousands that demands precision and care. In Laos, a Korean-backed project breathes new life into Luang Prabang's airport, a bold step toward boosting connectivity and economic prospects. Meanwhile, Myanmar turns its focus to empowering small and medium enterprises, a critical strategy to fortify its economy and improve food security from the ground up. Together, these snapshots reveal a region striving for resilience and growth, one infrastructure project and entrepreneurial venture at a time. And what would our global tour be without the exhilaration of sports? Real Madrid's triumph in the Club World Cup, amplified by Kylian Mbappe's electrifying debut, delivers a jolt of joy to fans worldwide. In cricket, India's women's team seizes a pivotal victory over England in the second T20I, igniting pride and promise across the subcontinent. Indian boxers punch their way into the World Boxing Cup quarterfinals, embodying grit and tenacity. Meanwhile, Wimbledon serves up its own share of surprises, as heavyweights Coco Gauff and Alexander Zverev bow out early, proving once more how delightfully unpredictable the world of sport can be. So, as we step back from these stories that stretch from the corridors of Accra's presidential palace to the courts of Wimbledon, we glimpse a world in constant motion, a kaleidoscope of ambition, conflict, cooperation, and the shared triumphs that remind us why we keep watching, hoping, and striving. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. If this journey through our ever-shifting world sparked your curiosity or gave you something new to ponder, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your thoughts make this dialogue richer and more meaningful, so share them below. For more details and links to explore these stories further, be sure to check the description. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and above all, stay engaged. This is Alvin from Green Ground signing off.